Monsieur Starling.
Oh, Detective, I was just...
Please, I eagerly await to hear what reason you give for being in the storage room.
A butler's job is never...
I am no fool, monsieur. You have spun enough stories this weekend.
Honestly, Detective, you don't trust anyone.
And with good reason.
I've been thinking about my time with the family.
I often think on fond memories, but it does not...
There are many memories held within these walls. I didn't realize...
Obviously. Were you preoccupied?
Of course not.
No, monsieur. You attempted to dupe me again into believing one of your stories.
Please, Detective. I know you know how it ended up in my possession. I was just trying to get some extra money together to send home.
Theft of a medal would be the very least.
Deceive? I'm sorry that I lied.
Would you care to explain the fake telephone call? It was purely for my benefit, no?
Why would I fake a telephone call?
The same reason that Mademoiselle Rihanna dressed in the Major's jacket in the snow, to allow not only the guests but me to believe the Major was still alive.
I didn't kill him, Detective.
I know, monsieur, but I also know that you helped the one that did to cover their tracks.
It wasn't like that. We were just trying to help. You never let on. How long have you known it was her?
Monsieur, I am Detective Hercule Poirot. I only show my hand when I deem it necessary.
You will be taking her away.
She will stand trial for what she has done.
But you don't know the full story. She is just a servant.
If Mademoiselle was only protecting herself, as you both have claimed, she will surely be found innocent.
The Major's military store.
The one that stored his medals.
Amongst other things, yeah?
And those other things are?
I had to protect her. If you found it when searching the study, you would have carted her off then and there.
Whatever it is you have hidden, it will not... I need a moment. Ah.
What a revelation! The pieces of the puzzle are finally... Huh.
Ah.
Magnifique. I cannot see the logic in this. Perhaps a second look at the evidence in front. Is there some... Come, my little grey cells. We must think... This will not get me any...
There is no use lying anymore. You found him.
Even the secret area that has been created here is not concealed enough to stop Detective Hercule Poirot.
I couldn't just leave it at the scene for you to find.
The Major was killed by his own knife. The knife that protected his life during the war.
It was in his holster when he attacked her. He had hold of her arm. What else was she meant to use? She didn't plan any of it, Detective.
That is what Mademoiselle told you?
She did, and I believe her. You think you knew the Major, but you had no idea. He was a monster and had more secrets.
That may be true, but that does not excuse...
Put yourself in her shoes for a minute. If a man like that had attacked me the way he did...
I need a moment.
I must take a different approach if I must act on thought. Order and method. That is the way. Another success. I never... I must act on thought and... Order and method. I should not be surprised by my own skills.
There is no use lying. He always had his regiment lighter that he
And yet, it was not his regiment emblem.
My father's. It must have fallen out of my pocket.
Monsieur, you have stashed evidence, manipulated a crime scene.
If it is my path to end up behind bars for what I have done, so be it. I have heard how you fought for that young maid before. Fleurette, is it?
I need a moment.
I must take a different approach if I am to Some would say a lucky guess. I would... Is there something... Things are beginning...
There is no use lying. When you asked me yesterday about seeing someone out there,
That does not explain what...
when Lizzie took me to the study, the knife was still in the Major's chest, and I knew I had to get rid of it. I dropped it out of the window, knowing...
So you collected it under the cover of darkness and stowed it away in here? What?
After your questioning in the pantry, I knew you were onto something, and
And where did you plan on moving it to?
honestly, I don't know. There is no use. Why what?
Exactement.
Because she is family.
I can assure you, monsieur, that I would not.
Then perhaps that says something about you, detective.
Even if it means crossing the...
Without... Aye, detective. But please, you have to help Lizzie. It was all an accident. She doesn't deserve to spend...
If she is put behind bars, it is because that is what...
Detective, you can't be so cruel.
It is not cruelty, monsieur.
This will not get me any close. I cannot see the logic in it. Come, my little grey cells. I should not be surprised by my own... What a revelation! Magnifique. Another success. Some would say a lucky guess. Is there some... Order and method. That is the way to... I must take a different approach. This will not get me any closer to my goal. cannot see the logic in this. Things are beginning to become clearer.
Detective Poirot, I'm glad you're...
Bonjour, mademoiselle. It has certain...
Please, Detective, I'm not sure I can take...
I'm afraid this may...
You have found Felix.
I have. And the guilt...
Detective,
It was Mademoiselle Elizabeth that was behind the Major's death.
you must be mistaken. Elizabeth would not...
I assure you I am not. It is something I... When you spoke of the telephone lines being out of order, it made me question the conversation I thought I had heard Monsieur Sterling make with...
But it hasn't been working all weekend.
Exactement, mademoiselle. That is when I knew...
She was meant to be resting in the staff quarters. She has not been...
I am afraid that was yet another lie, orchestrated to keep her from incriminating herself.
Why would you think that, Detective?
I only managed a few words with her before we were quite abruptly interrupted by Monsieur Sterling.
I must admit, he has a habit of speaking over the other staff.
It was much more than merely disturbing our conversation. It was done with the intent.
So, Elizabeth killed Felix, and then Archibald...
In its simplest form, oui.
You have spoken with Elizabeth already?
Not Elizabeth, but
I wasn't.
It was Monsieur Sterling that I found in there. I was taken by some surprise to hear anyone.
What on earth was he doing?
He claimed he was merely reminiscing of his time with the family.
You don't believe him?
It did not take long for me to uncover the truth of why he was there, and the location of the Major's...
Hidden...
A room that held all of the Major's...
I had no idea. Did you discover the reason for his blackmail?
I did. Were you aware he was dishonorably discharged from the army?
Dishonorably? Yes, Gideon told me about the conversation you had. It is really quite upsetting.
Zachariah was adamant of the Major's cruelty during the war, but the extent was not known until now.
Surely not. He would not do such a thing. They must have been trying to...
I am afraid not.
Oh, Detective.
It is the reason he was discharged, denied his military pension, and...
He had been such an important part of my life for so long. In a sense, you said it was she that killed him.
It was her hand that held the knife, but he was quite insistent it happened in self-defense.
In all of the years I have known her, she has barely even raised her voice. I cannot believe...
The whole truth cannot be known until Mademoiselle...
Will you allow me to be present?
I think that is an excellent idea. I hope...
Please, Detective. I know she has done a terrible thing, but...
I will offer Mademoiselle Elizabeth the fair trial that she deserves.
Thank you, Detective.
Would you bring Mademoiselle Elizabeth to the study where we...
Of course, I...
Mademoiselle Elizabeth,
Miss Angeline said you requested to see me urgently.
we have some serious matters to discuss, and I would like to waste no further time.
Oh, yes, Detective. Still not quite myself.
I was surprised when Monsieur Sterling hurried you to assist Madame Vandenbosch last...
I should not have avoided my duties for so long. The house does not stop because I'm feeling a little
That is true, but you cannot be expected to complete all your...
Honestly, Detective, it was best for me to not sit and wallow anymore. Have you been able to uncover who
The blackmailer's identity has been established, and they will pay the price for...
Wonderful news, Detective! You can put it all behind...
I would not say thrilled, knowing that such a close...
Mademoiselle is correct. What I have learned over this weekend is that people are not always as they appear. Well...
And,
Well, mademoiselle, that is what...
I'm not quite sure what you want me to say.
Your honest opinion is all I ask, and s'il te plaît.
We only spoke when there was something in the house to be done. We did not speak of interests or...
You knew of his work with Monsieur de Silva?
I only know what is required of me to know, and that is very little.
But you were aware of his work as security at Monsieur de...
I was.
The factory your beloved Luc worked at.
Yes, Detective. Yes, that is where he spent his last moments. Standing shoulder to shoulder with his...
The resulting riots were a terrible tragedy. One that I hope we will not have to see or experience again. Something that could have been avoided.
Nobody deserved to die that day. Not my Luke. Detective, what kind of question is that?
It is a straightforward one. Mademoiselle, if there is something you wish to tell me, now is that time.
I'm sorry, Detective, I just don't know how to answer it.
Let us consider what we know of the Major. He fronted the militia that attacked the workers at the strike. You were aware of this? You finally had someone to blame for Luke's death. Someone conveniently located in the same house, alone in his study.
No, Detective. It wasn't like that.
Tell me what happened with the Major on the evening of his death.
I was only in here trying to prove what I heard Mr. Beckers say. I was going to report him, I swear. Miss Angeline, you believe me, don't you?
I want to. I am still trying to understand it all myself.
I was delivering Miss Angeline's dress to her room when I heard Mr. Beckers arguing with the Major in his study. They were ever so loud. I thought the whole house would have been listening to what they were saying. Mr. Beckers was talking about the factory strikes and how it was the Major's fault. He told him that if he didn't own up to his crimes, he would go to the newspapers.
I cannot imagine the Major would have taken kindly to Monsieur Beckers.
He didn't. He called him some rather uncouth names before Mr. Beckers left and went downstairs, and made sure to keep out of sight. After the altercation between the Major and Master Gideon, you went to speak with him outside, and I thought I could look around his study without anyone knowing. I had to know for sure. If it was true, he'd...
And did you find the proof you are looking for?
I found a payment from Mr. De Silva, but there was nothing incriminating about that. I was so nervous.
And then you saw the blackmail note.
I recognised the writing on the envelope. I couldn't believe it. How could he do such a thing to Angeline? To the family that had taken him in?
Common sense would determine the Major was another victim of the blackmailer.
If I'd have used common sense, I wouldn't have been snooping around alone in his study in the first place. I heard the footsteps in the hall, and before I could move, the Major was standing in front of me, demanding to know why I was going through his belongings without permission. I tried to come up with an excuse, but nothing came out, and when he saw the letter in my hand, it was like Dr. Jekyll turning into Mr. Hyde. I tried to move around him towards the door, but he hurled something towards me, and it crashed against the wall.
That would explain the damage to the wall.
I froze. I have never been so scared in all my life. I thought he was going to kill me there and then.
And you thought you would beat him to it?
Oh, Detective, you make it sound as though I had it all planned. He lunged forward and grabbed me by the arm. I tried to push him away, but he was too strong. His grip just got tighter and tighter. If only you had seen the look in his eyes, I dared not even scream. I saw the sheath on his belt. I didn't know what else to do. I didn't want to hurt him, but...
So you took your opportunity to put an end to it all.
I just wanted to get him off me. I didn't want to hurt him. I reached for it and I jabbed it at him. His grip instantly loosened and I ran straight out.
You did not even look to see what state you had left him in?
She had just been attacked, detective.
Oui, please.
I ran down to the pantry looking for Rahana. I explained to her what had happened and she went to find Archie. She said... We went back to the study and he was still lying. Archie said that no one would believe me. That if someone like me killed someone like him, I would be sent straight to the gallows. He left the letter so you would find it. He said that if people knew what the Major was really like, then they wouldn't care what happened to him.
So I am to believe that it was Monsieur Sterling and Mademoiselle Rihanna that cleaned the scene and orchestrated a plan that included a fake telephone call and dressing as the Major so that he may be seen.
I swear I had no idea that is what they had done. Archie just told me to stay out of sight.
Then Monsieur Sterling and Mademoiselle Rihanna will be charged for obstruction of justice and
Please, detective, they were only trying to help me.
If they wished to help you, they should have brought all of this to my attention immediately instead of...
Surely you haven't forgotten what happened with Florette. She was only accused of stealing.
It is a day I have not forgotten, mademoiselle.
Without your help, I don't stand a chance. Please, Detective Poirot.
Oh, Elizabeth, why didn't...
I didn't think you would believe me. I felt so guilty. And when it was announced yesterday that he was a victim of the blackmailer, I wanted to tell you
The pieces of the puzzle are
Oh, yes, Detective. I don't know where it is.
If you have been honest with me until now,
I'm sorry, I really don't know. Archie dropped it out of the study window and he said he would deal with it. I couldn't bear to touch the thing. Please, I was only protecting myself. I didn't want to hurt him. He just wouldn't let me go.
Oui, mademoiselle. I know. Mademoiselle tells quite the harrowing story.
I cannot imagine the Major acting in such a way. But Elizabeth...
After learning what I have about the Major's character this weekend, I would not... I know that you share a close bond with Mademoiselle Elizabeth.
She has committed a terrible crime, but she will live with that for the rest of her...
If what she says of the Major's attack is true, she acted in self-defense. I will do everything I can to make sure her story is heard. Mademoiselle, it is time I address the...
Are you sure? What will you say? What if they do not listen?
I can assure you...
Elizabeth was right, though. She's just a servant. What if they...
Mademoiselle, when Detective Poirot speaks, they will listen. Would you ask the guests to convene in the...
Of course.
I have told Monsieur Sterling to remain in the staff quarters with the others. You have been of great help to me throughout my investigation.
You only need to ask.
While I am speaking with the guests in the library, would you watch over Mademoiselle Elizabeth?
You don't think she will try?
In her position, I do not know what she might try. But I trust with you there,